But let's move on and talk about a few earnings then. Sanjay Thapar, the CEO and Executive Director of SJS Enterprises, joins us on the show now. Hi, Mr. Thapar. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for speaking with ET now. First up, if you can talk to us about your numbers in terms of the overall performance. The margins this time were strong despite a revenue decline. What played out and what kind of sustainable margins we should track going forward?
So first of all, thank you very much for having me on your show. Yes, you're right. Despite challenging environment in the automotive sector and the appliance sector, our Q3 revenues grew at we're at 918 million with a robust EBITDA margin of 28.8% and a profit margin of at 16.2%. So this is among brick and mortar companies, I think we are right at the top. We improved our margins. So historically, if you look at SJS performance, so we've been delivering very high margins. EBITDA margins have been traditionally in the range of 27 to 30%, and we are maintaining that. And this quarter, despite headwinds at the market, demand being low, the festive seasons sales being low, we still were able to expand our margin, in fact, by 190 basis points on a quarter-to-quarter basis. And our net profit increased by 91 basis points. So primarily, this is a kind of internal focus. The business that we have or the plant that we have is fungible. So we are very nimble and flexible. So with changing demands, we are able to align our production accordingly. So that's what's led to superior performance.
So, Mr. Thapar, you talked about the changing demand patterns. Are you referring to the entire supply chain issue that we are seeing in the automotive sector? And how have you been able to, pair through that particular challenge? And what are you doing to, diversify your business and get away from the, concentration on the automotive sector?
So fundamentally, traditionally, we've been focused on, we supply aesthetic and decorative parts to automotive and consumer durable sector. Those are the main markets. Our two-wheeler business, so if you're aware, so in the beginning of this year, we acquired a company called Exotech Plastics, which added chrome plating parts and painting in our portfolio. So as we stand today, our two-wheeler sales is about 23% of our overall sales. Passenger vehicles account for 32% of our sales and consumer durables about 25%. So we are a very well-rounded company. And essentially, the equipment and the manufacturing process we have is fungible. That means that if there is a demand variation or there's a peak demand that happens in some segment, we are quickly able to seize that opportunity by using the equipment that we have to produce parts. So typically, we do a lot of printing, screen printing, and the machines that we have can produce parts for consumer durables as well as passenger vehicles as well as for the two-wheeler application. So this is typically what I meant by flexibility and nimbleness in the company.
Right. So if we just talk about how things are moving in terms of the changes in the auto pack, new technology coming in, demand for certain products suddenly rising, it's happening already fast. How is the company prepared for that?
So a key theme driving our business is premiumization. So we see that in today's world, the customer is well aware of what is happening in the world. And he demands better aesthetics because the products that we provide or add aesthetic appeal to a two-wheeler or a four-wheeler or even a consumer durable. So these parts are now changing, customers demanding what is available globally. And at SJS, we have a very vast portfolio of technology that we have. And we have these new generation products that will benefit from this change in customer demand. So typically new categories like customers are moving away from a 2D dial to a 3D dial in the instrument cluster in a four-wheeler. In a two-wheeler, you see that change happening from an analog to a digital cluster where people want everything. They want geofencing, they want hands-free calling. So we have products that address that market as well. We have now started producing and supplying capacitive touch overlays. So from the conventional overlays, which you used to press to select a wash cycle in a washing machine, for example. We have now capacitive touch. So SJS has that technology. Plus also in-mold label, in-mold decoration. So these are other parts that are required to improve the aesthetics of the interior of a car, for example, or even badging that is required by two-wheelers. So we do a lot of that stuff. And optical plastics is another new technology that we have. So with the increased demand for touchscreen infotainment within cars, two-wheelers, we've already talked of that you have a digital instrument cluster now. So you require screens which are printed, and so SJS has optical plastics in our portfolio. And moving forward, we will benefit greatly from this shift of the consumer towards premium products, premier aesthetics, premium touch and feel and human machine interface parts that exist in the automotive as well as the appliance industries.
Okay, Mr. Thapar, we will let you go on that note. Thank you so much for speaking with ET Now. So